Hola, hola, hola. How's everyone doing? Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. I hope you've had a great week. I had a good week. I had a better week than last week. We'll get into that in a few minutes after we dance. Wepa. Yes. Welcome to eNanny Link's platform, Parenting Live. If you've been watching my lives for a few weeks now and you see value in it and you know families that can benefit from it, go ahead and hit that share button so that others can enjoy the live as well. Yes. Hola, Deb. Yes. So while I'm dancing here real quick, I'm going to introduce myself. My name is Shauna Hibbets, and I am the creator of eNanny Link, which is this platform that we're on. I am an early childhood specialist of over 25 years. I have cared and taught for over 10,000 children. Yo hablo español y yo hablo inglés también. I learned both languages at the same time when I was a child. Yes. eNanny Link's sole mission is to empower the entire family across the world, from the parents all the way down to the children. My community calls me the child whisperer, which it makes me feel good that people see value in my work of all the years that I've worked with families and children across the world. And yeah, so let's get started on this topic. Yes. Hi, Mercedes. Hi, Mary. Hi, Kim. How is everyone doing? Happy Sunday. So I'm doing well. I'm just going to be real frank and just tell you that I had a rough March start. So I went to Trinidad, had the most amazing time in Trinidad. And when I came back, I had a hard time the beginning of March, all the way up to maybe 3 days ago. So many of you know that I unexpectedly lost my husband last year to, thank you for the hearts and the love, to cancer called glioblastoma. He was complaining of headaches for 3 weeks, and in 90 days, he passed away. So I took care of him in the middle of a leg injury that I had. So I actually was taking care of him from a wheelchair. I bring all that to tell you why I having a hard time in March is because this is the month that he passed away. Last year, he passed March 24th. So I've been trying to work hard to push through that, and I'm still with a bereavement counselor, and I'm getting therapy for it, and I'm doing a lot better. But it does affect me. And one of the things that I said in my intro here was how to implement self-care on the go. And the reason why I said on the go is because we as parents are always on the go. And it's becoming to the point where we are having such a hard time scheduling self-care and such a hard time putting that first, that I figured, well, let me try to come up with some ideas to help parents to be able to experience some bursts or some form of self-care while they're on the go. Because what I have in quotes here, our vibe affects our tribe. So however we're feeling is how our tribe is feeling, which is our children, our family, our husbands, our goal circle. Everyone around us is affected by our vibe. And it's important, no matter what we're going through in life, that we seek out self-care ideas, implement them, or get any kind of help that we may need. In my case, I have professional help to help me get my mind, body, and soul back together from a traumatic experience that I experienced last year, which affects my entire family, the goal circle around me, and it affects me being a mother as well. Even though I'm an empty nester, it still affects the way I am handling myself when I am around my son and when I'm around my nieces and nephews. So it's very important that our vibe is in a decent space, so that when we're modeling the behavior that we want from our children, or we're just modeling, you know, the best version of ourselves, we want to make sure that we are pouring into ourselves. So since we're always on the go, I have a couple ideas for us as parents to be able to implement to try to help you to get those small bursts of inspirations and small bursts of pockets of self-care. So one of the things I have on my list, and I know this is going to be so hard. I love you too, Mary. I know this is going to be hard, but one of the things that I have on my list is take 1 or 2 things off of your to-do list. So tomorrow's Monday. Tomorrow is one of, if not the busiest days for parents and caregivers. Anyone that handles and work with children know that Monday is the hardest day of the week because it's that transition from going from the weekend to getting back into our routine for the week. And a lot of times we end up creating these to-do lists, which I so dearly love to have a to-do list. I love scratching it off. I love feeling accomplished by it, so I encourage you to try to take off 2 things off of your to-do list for tomorrow that you can see that can either be moved to another day or combined in a way harmoniously with another goal that you have in mind. Or maybe it's something that doesn't have to be done this week or this month, you know, or break it down into, which is something that I have a bad habit of doing, is trying to go after the entire goal on my to-do list. And sometimes that one thing may need to be broken down into 2-3 pieces. So for example, say you want to, let's talk about meal prep, which I was horrible as a parent. I will admit that. I didn't realize how important it was to meal prep until I started actually having my private clients going out into their homes. And I'm like, we got to pack lunches the night before. We need to figure out how to crock pot some meals, break it down, and be able to have a dinner throughout the week, because we're running so hard. Thinking about dinner and thinking about lunches were 2 of the biggest and hardest things that I feel like people go through day to day, because you want to eat healthy, you're on the go, and it's like, how do you accomplish this? So meal prepping is a really, really good way to try to take some things off your to-do list instead of having to cook dinner every single day. So I don't know if Kimberly is still on here, but Kimberly Robert Shoemaker, she makes some really incredible meals for her boys. And she does, the meal planning is outstanding. Her kids are eating like very healthy meals most of their days. And I often think about your boys, Kimberly, if you're still on here, when they grow up and they get married. Hopefully we have some folks that are raising girls that are cooking the way you do. But meal planning is important. And I think that it is a way to cut down on some of the to-do stuff, so you're not overwhelmed when you have to stop and cook. All you got to do is pull it out the fridge. It's already cooked, heat it up, pop it in the oven. So that's a way to cut down some of the stuff on your to-do list. Another way to implement some self-care is to set timers. So this is something that I learned from one of my friends. She's a mom, and she runs her own business. And she said, set timers throughout the day to help you stop, pause, and breathe. You can close your eyes and breathe or meditate. So you just use your phone, just set a timer on there, like at 11:05, I'm going to give myself 3 minutes to breathe, you know? Or at 2:15, I'm going to close my eyes for 5 minutes, you know, or I'm going to do some stretches. So set some timers throughout the day to give you small pockets of breaks where you could just take a moment to yourself and breathe and try to pour inside yourself. Yes. And I find that I think that this works really well in the car. Because unfortunately today, because we're always on the go, we're not at home all the time. And so the car literally have become an extension of our home. You know, we live in our cars, unfortunately. We eat, we nap, you know, we do our social media breaks, we do lives, we take our, you know, there's a lot of things that we do in a car that we never used to do when we were growing up, and that's because we're on the go all the time. So the car is a really good place to try to take a break, to breathe, to meditate, and to set some timers. Another self-care idea is podcasts and reading books. So I know that we are always on the go and we're like, I can't sit down and physically read a book, which for me, I love that old school way. But the realistic thing today is that you may need to get your book consumption on the go. So you have Audible books, you have the library has Overdrive where you can download books from them for free. And when you're in the car, since we're in the car a lot, you can listen to your books in the car, or you can listen to them at home when you're going to bed. You can just put some earbuds in and it could be a good transitional way to go to bed as well. So that's another good self-care idea. And then the last one I had was an outing with friends. I feel that it's very, 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 very important to have outings, to go out for lunch, to go out for breakfast, to have friends over, to go over to see friends, to figure out how to share childcare responsibilities with your friends, where maybe you have 4 or 5 friends and 4 of you rotate where everyone does their part with maybe caring for the children so that the other 3 or 4 friends can go out. Having friends over at your house is another good way to implement self-care, because not only do you get to enjoy the social aspect with your friends, you are in the comfort of your home, and your children, 9 times out of 10, you can try to keep your children on their regimen or their routine while you're having company at your home. So those are my quick self-care on-the-go tips. And I want to tell you today, I'm going to put it in here. I think today is March the 8th, I believe. Last Sunday, the Parenting Lounge opened, which if you remember, the Parenting Lounge is a lounge that I created on a platform called Mighty Networks. And it's not on Facebook. And what's really great about the lounge is that it is a place for families to come together, to pour into one another, and to create this extra self-care at your fingertips on the go situation for yourself. It is an oasis space. It's a relaxing space. I am your host. I'm in there every day. And we just opened up the lounge. The lounge just went public last week, and I'm trying to get the link to put in here. One quick second. For any parents that may be interested in joining the lounge, you can click on this link and you can get more information on the cost. The whole month of March, you will be grandfathered in at the rate of $9.99. We would love to have you in there. We had our first cyber game night the other night. It was so much fun. We're face-to-face for cyber game night. We have a special guest last month, and we have a new special guest that's coming in this week. And last month we had a special guest where we're all face-to-face. And when we do our parenting lives, we dive seriously deep to the core of our parenting topics and our issues and what we're going through, and we support one another. And the beauty of it is that we all realize that we're all going through the same thing at the same time. Even if children are different ages, even if you're a parent of, my case, empty nester, if you're a parent of children that are young, middle-aged, preteen, the same similar challenges and struggles are still there as far as having enough me time for yourself and all of this kinds of things. So we dive really deep. It's very private, intimate conversations, and we are face to face. So if you know anyone that's interested in joining me and wanting to hang out with me on a daily basis with the rest of the parents that are in there with me, feel free to click on the link and come on into the lounge. We welcome you with open arms. So I hope everyone have an amazing, amazing, amazing week. I will be back here next Sunday live at 5. If you have any topics that you would like me to give any tips on, feel free to give me a message and I will do that. So until next week, if you like to come on and do the eNanny Link Shuffle with me. Yes, ritmo! If I didn't tell you, this song was created for me, for eNanny Link, from my nephew, Joe Battle. He is a musician. He is a DJ out of Colorado. He created these tunes for me for eNanny Link. And his company is called Inquiring Minds Entertainment. So if you're interested in any music or any beats, Joe is the man. This is my favorite part. I can't talk. Yeah. Wepa, baby. Have a great week, everyone. I will see you next week. Muchas gracias y chao. Thank you for the love. Ciao.